Hello, everyone. I'm Matt Cubby Samuelson, and joining me for this chit chat is going to be the new top laner for AOE. It is Faisal Kakar, whose in-game name is also Faisal. So you've got, the Smurf synergy there with the first name in-game name. Always good for top laners. And hey, Faisal, I just wanted to chat with you real quick. I know that last split of Proving Grounds, we saw you have a little bit of success with teams early, and then you guys dropped out of later tournaments. We now see you back with AOE in the top lane, and what are your expectations and hopes for yourself as an individual, and also your roster going into this split?
Um, for myself, I want to be like a rock in the top, basically. I want to try and be as consistent as I possibly can, like know my matchups, etc. TPs. I want to be on top of all of that,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to prove myself as that I can be the best if I put my mind to it. And for my team, I definitely think that we're a serious contender for the top if we actually put our all into it. So I think it'll be a good season.
Yeah, I love to hear that, and all I heard from that was a lot of Malphite picks coming through for the Rock at the top.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
Malphite. Yeah, he's good.
that's the real cheat code here. But no, it's great to hear that you guys are shooting for the top. I know that that's kind of been the unanimous uh, message I've gotten from talking with teams and players at the start of the season as we're all getting excited for the start. I know that OQs are actually today when I'm talking with you. I'm talking with you right before OQ1. What are your expectations for OQs, and are there any teams that you see in there as being a threat, or any teams that the community might be sleeping on?
Yeah, for OQs,
Mm-hmm.
we're kind of a new team, so we're kind of meshing together right now, building some synergy. So maybe the first few games won't be as good, but I'm still really confident that we'll get the wins really easily. And for the other teams, I'm kind of worried about the EG Prodigies team and the Wildcard Red. They have a lot of good synergy from last season as well with their players.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to keep an eye out on them for sure.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be keeping an eye out for EGP running back the top side with Shoryu, who was really the only reason he's down here is because of visa issues. He was a very good AD carry in Academy and going to be a threat. But I know for you, stepping back into the top lane role, and especially, the wildcard roster with a player like Dokla, who's been around for a while, are there any top laners that you see in Proving Grounds landscape that you really look up to or you really want to go up against?
Um, I don't think in Proving Grounds, but LCS for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably like Revenge, Viper are like two of the big ones. We kind of have like the same heritage as well, so it's like similar. So I kind of look up to them.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. That's great to hear. And if we see you start spamming Riven, I guess we know where that motivation's from, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, Faisal, before I let you go and before I let you get to these OQs this afternoon, any thank yous or shout outs you'd like to give, or any first words you have to any of the fans at AOE tuning in?
Yeah. I would like to thank the org. They've been nothing but helpful so far, and I want to make them proud as best as I can. And definitely a shout out to my friends who's been supporting me this whole journey.
Yeah, that's great to hear that you have that support from your core group of friends and also from your organization as well. And Faisal, best of luck in Proving Grounds in the OQs and also in the tournaments to follow. Hope we get to see a lot of you this split, and hope we get to see AOE shoot for the top and take home some titles like you guys are aiming for.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Matt Cubby Samuelson, and joining me for this is none other than the jungler for AOE RBM. And honestly, I'm looking forward to sit down and chat with you and Darkwing specifically because you guys landed on a different roster for this split of Proving Grounds. So what kind of went into that decision?
Well, after Zeus ended, obviously we wanted to play with the most Zeus members as possible, like everyone did.
Mm-hmm.
So me and Darkwings got on a roster together because we both got a lot of offers, but neither of us really made any of the other offers except for AoE. And then Alorum had an offer really fast that he took and ended up taking Raheen and Rhino.
Yeah.
So pretty nice that everyone got to play together for the most part. There's only the two rosters that are all Zeus, so not bad in the end.
Well, I'm a little bit bummed to see the Goon Squad split up, but I'm glad to see that you and Dark Wings are sticking together on this new roster. And I know that looking from top to bottom, you guys feel like you have a pretty strong team, and I must say, on paper, it seems so as well. What are your expectations for the 5 guys in AOE as you guys go into this split of Proving Grounds?
I mean, 100% guarantee we make PG because that's pretty easy. But if we can like get good, like get better really fast, we'll be able to make a deeper run into PG than Zeus did before, because Zeus ended like top, whatever, like 9 through 12. So.
Hello, everyone, and welcome here to EGP versus AOE Game 2. We are straight into the draft, already pretty far through it, but man, what a game one. I'm still cooling down myself, DJ. I need some more ice water over here because Short Hop is on fire.
Yeah, Short Hop was absolutely on fire and just blowing up all of EGP, all of Zon along with him. Nobody could stop him. They didn't draft Vi. That was the problem. That's clearly the problem. They didn't draft Vi. They couldn't stop Short Hop. He was absolutely untouchable as that game progressed because EGP did go for a very early game, very tempo-focused topside with this Nidalee Renekton Nocturne. It did work pretty well for them to start off the game. They had multiple gold leads, 3K at 1.5K, 1.6K at its greatest, but there was always that looming threat in the back of their minds that if you get late enough in this game, the Jinx is going to have 5 items and you're not going to be able to kill her anymore because of what you drafted. And that did come to fruition because AOE randoms did enough, took enough Drakes, fought back enough to allow Short Hop to become the carry he was meant to be. And we'll see if he can do it once again as the picks are coming through EGP. Another pretty tempo-focused draft here, Udyr, Renekton, Kai'Sa. So you change one thing, you keep 2 the same. On the other end, Lilia, Nocturne, Leona going to be the answer from AOE randoms.
Yeah, obviously these two teams know what is the most important, and that's where they're headed. It is Udyr taken away. Tomio will not be on the Nidalee this time around, so still on a tempo-based jungler, but it's a lot easier to execute, right? You don't need to win anything in particular to find success on Udyr. All you have to do is just face roll your keyboard every time you're near a camp, and basically you'll outpace the enemy jungler. Lilia, though, is not too far away from that speed. Is one of the few junglers that can match, if not surpass the speed, just really depending on where the priority is. Phase 2 bans coming through. Varus taken away. Surprised not to see that one earlier on. Rakan as well makes a lot of sense. Don't want to give that one to Skytech. What is the selection, though? Still waiting on the 80 carry for AOE, and there is no Jinx available, so I'm curious what we're going to get here. We're sort of digging deep through the barrel. Maybe a Tristana on the board?
Yeah, it could be a Tristana. You could try to flex Nocturne. It would go well with the AP jungler in Lily. I'm not sure if Leo plays it. We'll have to see. Nope. Okay, they are going to ban it away. So they see the same thing that we potentially saw. The Lucian's still on the table, by the way. That is always an option, but again, has to be something that Leo does play. I'm not sure if he does or not. We'll see if he's bold enough to pull it out. I do see a little bit of it in the solo queue history there, but instead the Swain potentially going to be hovered. No, are we going to get a Vayne?
Okay, it's still exciting, not exciting as Swain, but all right, Swain, Vayne, it rhymes. They were trying to drop us hints for what we were going to see. Vayne is in, and that is, well, if you wanted to see an exciting champion, that is top tier for the likes of the carry role in the bot lane. So AOE randoms will be operating this skillful Knight Huntress Assassin. Nautilus will be the pairing with Kai'Sa, of course, a very strong duo, basically unmatched in their 2v2. The plasma procs are just too deadly from the Nautilus, the point and click as well, to access any specific target on the backline. So well done there from Evil Genius Prodigies. I like what they've gotten for themselves so far, and the last pick will be Anakali.
Yeah, so we see kind of a very similar idea here coming out of EGP to very early to mid-game focused kind of assassins, 1 AP, 1 AD this time, along with a high-tempo jungler in Udyr. Now the Kai'Sa Nautilus lane, as the Nautilus did escape the Phase 2 bans in favor of the Nico. Another favorite of Skytech that was taken away. So AOE randoms trying to make him uncomfortable, but I gotta say, we'll see what the draft rounds out with. This is Silas. That one's going to likely go I mean, you could really go into either here. It'd be interesting to see where they do take it. I would guess top, but we'll see where it does end up. I do have some questions about AOE's phase 2 here. It is always fun to watch Vayne roll around Summoner's Rift, but it can be good into Kaisa for sure when you do have to dive in if you can immediately get the condemn into the wall. The problem I have is that this was taken R4. You didn't ban away Nautilus, so you give the Kaisa Nautilus lane, which is kind of a tried and true, freebie easy lane, freebie easy engage, and of course Vayne hates Nautilus, like literally the most amount of CC internally, like in a kit that you could have, and incredibly easy to land. 2 different point and click CCs, one that is pretty hard to miss if you position it right with the hook. So really, really hard for her to deal with, and you have to deal with the Akali. You also have the Renekton that has point and click CC. So you have the Udyr who has point and click CC. Like Vayne hates point and click CC because you can't dash away from it. You can't do anything against it, right? And so I really question drafting Vayne into what was already 2 CC champions and leaving Nautilus up at the same time in R4. So we'll see, kind of what ShoreHop's idea is, if there's something up AOE's sleeve with this composition or play style. But it seems to me that you've kind of picked yourself into a bit of a corner where you have to play fights like perfectly to get away with this Vayne pick.
And that's often the case with Vayne just generally as a champion, unless you're up against 4 melees without a lot of crowd control. But regardless, ShoreHop certainly has his work cut out for him. But I mean, come on, are we really going to doubt ShoreHop? Like, after the games we've seen from him tonight, like, I mean, sure, I'll let him pass. If he said in draft, if I were coaching and operating this draft, he said, yeah, lock me in Vayne. Sure, you can have it. Go for it, man. I got no worries at all. So I'm willing to give him the pass so far in draft. I think we're going to have a little bit of swap shenanigans going on. For now, we see Surdy on the Akali and Chim on the Nocturne. That may not stay the same throughout picks and bans. We may see some last minute shenanigans coming through, so we'll have to keep our eyes peeled, and we'll keep you updated on that one as we go down. But Aspect back on the Renekton worked out pretty well last game. I think there were a couple mistakes, especially that one against Baron, losing the Guardian Angel basically for free and giving ShoreHop more gold. That was really detrimental, so needs to be careful about positioning. But I think the jungle mid duo here from Tomio and Aspect as strong as ever, and that was the success factor for EGP in game 1.
Yeah, it was very successful sort of in the early to mid game. I think the tempo was really good. They had multiple gold leads, and this is a style that they're very familiar playing, right? Sturdy loves to take these bruiser matchups. Aspect loves these kind of priority matchups in mid lane. He'll play AD champions, he'll play Aurelia, he'll play assassins as well of the AP variety. And Tomio loves his tempo. He's going to get it here again. They're going to get a very similar top side to what they had in game 1. So what you want to see from EGP here is more of a focus on taking that lead and closing out the game, right? They tried to do that in game 1. They lost a couple Drakes early on, though. Credit to Josie. He was 4 out of 5 on early objectives on the map, both Rift Heralds and 2 Drakes. And it just took too long for EGP to find a win condition to truly break the game open. By that time, the late game scaling had come through. There wasn't enough to get onto ShoreHop, and they fell. This time, it's a little bit different, though, because I want to drink the Kool-Aid here, Necrox. ShoreHop has been great all night, but there's a difference between being great on a champion that's got like 700 bonus range with rockets and a champion that's got like 525 into 4 stun champions. So can it happen again? Yes. I think it's a very similar setup with maybe a little bit more fight back from Leo and Chim on their champion picks here in the mid game. The late game condition definitely is like a Vayne win condition. But this time it's not as free as the Jinx one because it's going to be a lot harder to not get CC'd. It's going to be a lot easier for EGP to have access to you in those fights.
Yeah, and again, has to play well. ShoreHop, his counter pairing here has a little bit more room to work with. Shoryu and Skytech, not the best performance in game 1, certainly expecting more. I think they dealt with the early game pretty well. It was a great engage from Skytech to burn the cleanse away from ShoreHop, and then they follow through with someone like Tomio. This time, the 2v2 should be really good. It's interesting to me that Skytech did take the Nautilus into the Leona. Typically, a counter matchup, Nautilus hooks in, stun, easy, clear. But if Leo's actually engaging in onto you, there's this sort of bounce region without getting too far into it where you can stop Leona from landing the Shield of Daybreak stun. So maybe Skytech ready for that matchup. But regardless, I think this 2v2 is pretty good for Shoryu and Skytech. Again, has to be careful about the Nocturne. If the CC is onto the back line, but Chim just flicks out the lights, you can't Killer Instinct onto the back line here. So need to be wary about that cooldown. Other than that, though, I think Shoryu and Skytech have really, really good resources committed to them, especially with the Udyr and the extra CC. This could be really good for EGP's bot lane to show that they're not going to get run over by Short Hop once again.
Yeah, and I do think they had a lot of pressure to absorb, of course, in that game number one. We'll see if that is the case again for EGP, or if Shoryu and Skytech, are given a little more protection and a little more agency in this game. But we'll have to find out. EGP got to prove that they can come back. They are definitely the favorites in this matchup. They find themselves trailing in the series. They got to prove that they have what it takes to turn this one around against the new boys on the block.
They have the necessary win to go. AOE randoms have some slack in this series, but certainly are no slacks, and making sure they can clean out a series 2-0. Only time will tell, though. We'll be right back after a quick break while we get ready to bring you the action on Summoner's Rift. You're not going to want to go anywhere for this one. EG Prodigies take on AOE randoms in game 2 at a deficit. Who could have seen that one coming? We'll be right back. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Rift. I am Necrox, joined by DJ here, bringing you AOE Random's run throughout the Cup Open qualifiers. After a lovely 2-0 in round of 32, they have taken a lead in game 1 in the round of 16. The other AOE team had won their first series and now are currently in the base of CNVS, Conviction Sun, looking to close that one out. But for now, our eyes are peeled here as Evil Genius's Prodigies look to scrounge up a win against AOE Randoms and Short Hop.
Yes, they do, Necrox. And again, it's a very similar look for EGP. So they don't seem cowed by the fact that they lost game 1. They probably think it's more down to execution, maybe in the mid to late game, which, I can see is very reasonable. Again, they had multiple leads. The tempo was good. Tomio had overturned a very large camp deficit in the early game after multiple ganks and was incredibly strong in that game. But There were just some mistakes. Short Hop got too many kills on a late game scaling Jinx that has too much access, too much range, and they just fell apart. This time around, if they can do the same thing, be a little cleaner around objectives, maybe not give up as many in the early game to Josie, they should be able to close it out as Josie walks through mid lane here. And again, keep in mind, Short Hop has been great all night long. But there's a difference between playing a late game team fight on a Vayne and on a Jinx. The range is so much larger.
Yeah, and Short Hop certainly has things to do this time. Tumbles back forward for a nice trade against Shoryu, but the junglers are where things normally start to manifest, at least in the early game, and so far Josie has taken away the Raptors of Tomio. That is one of Lilia's staple maneuvers, as level 2 in the bot lane might come here in just a moment. Has to be careful. Skytech level 2, hook in, finds its way onto the right target, so does the Void Seeker. Shoryu just demolishes Short Hop and Pockets along with Skytech there to reinforce, but a little bit of a mistake there on the bot side as Josie's trying to make up for that in his pathing for now.
Yeah, just another level 2 earned there by the EGP bottom lane. This time around, they are not in as disadvantageous of a matchup. It's not double ranged into Leona, so they do earn the initial push. They get level 2, and now they are shoving in under turret. A little lucky for Shoryu. He needed one more auto to fully pack the passive. Didn't fully proc the passive. Excuse me. Didn't quite get it. But will be feeling a lot better probably about how this lane has started versus the last one.
Yeah, and Skytech, one of those players that you really want to see succeed, especially coming in to work with Shoryu. Topside, meanwhile, Shuri's going very low. Chim takes one tower shot on the way out. Ignite is ticking, but so is his corrupting potion. And AOE get first blood solo kill top lane.
Yeah, again, it's Chim just picking up Surdy, who it's a little too aggressive, overestimates himself a little too much, and he will die to the enemy top laner. Nice stuff from Chim, who was largely abused in the last game by Tomio, of course, was the weak side of the map, so not altogether unexpected, but this time he says, I'm not going to be weak side, I'm going to make this the strong side. Opens with a solo kill in a very volatile top lane matchup.
Indeed, and Chim had done as much as he could to hold on last game on the Shen, protecting Short Hop at all costs, it felt like. Even sacking waves when necessary, giving up turrets, giving up entire side lanes. But it worked out to great success this time. I like to see him succeed. Shorty trying to go for a trade here. Shorty going into that Shroud and right back out. Has no flash, but has no summoners now. Expended that TP and Ignite to try to get the solo kill. Just did not work out for him. And mid lane, about the same effort there from Leo. Hook forward. What was that? Short Hop, nice condemn away. Pockets trying to keep his AD carry safe as well. But here comes Tomio. Do they have enough damage to kill Pockets? Yes, they do. He will run away, trying to buy as much time as possible. But Shoryu gets himself on the board.
Nice timing on the gank here by Tomio as the wave was once again in a very good position, held there by the EGP bottom lane, but even more impressive, Skytech with the snipe, baby, throwing that giant hook through the minions, connects it onto Short Hop, who flashes away from the oncoming jungler, but the same cannot be said for his poor support, Pocus, who disappears off the face of Summoner's Rift.
He does not feel great about that one, but Short Hop now has a scepter, so willing to go for the shield bow this time around, and I think that is a great selection here, especially because the difficult conditions that he has to work under against champions like a Kai'Sa and an Akali, who can dive onto you at a moment's notice. You need that extra safety, that extra protection in the shielding from the Immortal Shield Bow. Nice shortkin flip there from Surdy, but Josie will take his recall now. Lots of gold in his pocket. The recall should benefit him at least an item, a component, but instead he's just going to go for the steel caps, understanding that most of this damage is auto attack based, so some safety for Josie instead of just opting for that clear, trying to swarm Tomio out of his jungle. So just the steel caps for now. Interesting buy actually, but I don't think it's the worst. DJ, I don't know. Are you a steel caps lover, or are you like that fast clear?
I buy it in this composition. I think it's fine against a jungle mid duo that is pretty much AD. Yes, Udyr is going to be doing some magic damage, but I think unless Tomio buys a damage item, you are most worried about Aspect and Shoryu in this composition. The Akali definitely not going to be targeting you in fights. Hold on here. Skytech hooks in. I'm just going to walk out. So I can definitely see the logic behind it, and I think your clear speed shouldn't be impacted too badly that you fall ungodly behind. And oh, here we go. Here's a chance.
Playing bot lane, level 6 is in for Joseph. He needs a lilting lullaby. He does have it available. One more, make it a two-man sleep, and a little bit too far out is Tomio. He's taken so low. Here comes the TPs. Everyone's arriving to the play. Everyone's going to be here in the bot lane. One man down. Aspect able to trade him right back. Short Hop will be taken down as well. There's Renekton early damage. Top side went very, very low. Chim trying his hardest to get away out of that one. One more hook forward from Skytech. Won't be able to find the mark. Now it's Leo99 trying to make the play all by himself. No support. Finally, the jungler's going to arrive. Josie's here. Has the lilting lullaby. One more crash down. Watch down. Eep. And the blows will find it. Flashing for the final auto onto Skytech, who will burn down to the grave. Leo looking for the dive onto the turret. The flash away. And cool guys don't look at explosions as AOE randoms blow up EGP.
Ooh, AOE Randoms is bringing it today, Necrox. That was some lovely stuff there from Leo and Josie in the 2v2, navigating it beautifully, flashing at the right times, knowing their damage output. They clean up the kills. They're going to take the Drake. This is a beautiful start from AOE Randoms as they turn that bottom lane play and get the TP out of Aspect as well.
I am so impressed with AOE Randoms. Not only their team coordination, being able to manage team fights, manage skirmishes properly together, but their coordination and their individual skill both combined to make what feels like a team that has been working together for years. But this team has not been working together for years. This team is basically brand spanking new. This is their time to show up, and now's the time for the engage in bot lane. Skytech gonna keep Shoryu safe for now with a nice hook on to Short Hop. Puck is trying to find the kill. Short Hop feels comfortable enough to step back up, takes a Void Seeker in the back end, so the trade won't go their way, but has life steal, so it doesn't really matter in the end. But AOE Randoms, man, it cannot be overstated how good this is, not only for the AOE organization in its entirety, but the team in particular has to have such great confidence because they're handling EG Prodigies with ease.
Yeah, a little early in game 2 here, Necrox, but so far, so very good for AOE Randoms after that big game 1 victory. Kills onto some important members. Josie looking very good once again. 11 CS up here, 2-0-2 on this Lilia selection. Leo also looking very flashy in that bottom lane on this Silas. Was able to use Skytech's ult before even Skytech had it available. A classic one there when the Silas does come for the party in bottom lane. And yeah, it's looking very nice. Top lane has been back and forth between Surdy, but mostly isolated, and a CS lead for Chim after he was abused last game. So everyone from AOE Randoms getting their licks in here in the early game. Do not sleep on EGP, of course. They have extremely strong champions. They will be fighting around these objectives. But there's another play in bottom lane. Skytech's just dead.
Goodbye, Skytech. One-way ticket back to the fountain. Tomio trying to get here in time, but there's just no way to arrive before your support is just knocked over. And AOE Randoms come up with yet another play, as Short Hop will get some more plating to himself. Some extra gold onto this vein makes it easier to navigate. 160 plus the kill credit did not go his way. Maybe he'd be able to pick that one up. Mid lane play is a response here for EGP. They're not one to go down without a fight. Dominus is stolen away by Leo, but it's just not as successful in a 2v1. Aspect gets his third. 3-1 at Crocodile. Man is big.
Yeah, clever pathing there from Tomio. He gets to the bottom lane play late. Instead of basing or going back to his camps, he slinks in around the vision as Josie goes onto the bot lane scuttle crab, slides into mid lane, and helps Aspect take down Leo. That is an important fight back to close the gold gap here and the tempo gap for EGP. And like I said, very cleverly done by Tomio. But we've been talking about Tomio liking his tempo, liking getting clears, getting ganks, etc. The tempo's been all Josie in this second game. He's still up 14 CS. He's 3-0-2 in 5 of 6 kills for AOE randoms, and he has been to every single play first in this game thus far, Necrox. And there was a moment where he kind of let Tomio catch up in game number 1, but honestly, he has been right on top of it throughout this series so far and is standing up to one of the Proving Grounds mainstays here in Tomio so far today.
And as much as we love bragging on Short Hop how well he's done throughout the night, Josie has been the one to set him up for success. Josie has been there every time he's been needed. There were a couple times in bot last time where Short Hop got caught out, and yes, there have been some mistakes from Josie, but overall these two have just been playing incredibly well. Now Chim looking for the solo kill in top lane, and I think he's got it. He indeed does. 2-0 both solo kills for AOE Random's top laner.
Dude, Surdy getting taken down here by Chim, maybe looking a little bit rusty. Maybe hasn't been playing enough 1v1s for that very aggressive top laner lately, but look here in mid lane, Josie again first to the play. This time Skytech's around. Will it be enough to turn it?
The knockup is there. The Lilting Lullaby is already used, so no more ability to join this fight. Here comes Shoryu, who had roamed up Killer Instinct to join the fight, and Shoryu will grab number 2.
And it's not Tomio this time, but the EGP bottom lane is there for the answer. Josie's tempo turned around as this bottom lane had shoved in, roamed up. Lovely stuff by Skytech and Shoryu, who say, if we're a little behind in tempo, we'll do it ourselves. Roaming up as this Drake spawns. Now Skytech a little bit overextended. Yeah, okay. Good stopwatch.
What a condemn. The stopwatch going to keep him alive. The team's joining the fight. The exhaust is there. The flash away. Now's a little bit of trouble. The re-engage is just too much for Shardy to answer with. Ult over the wall, though, will get him out to safety. An attempted effort there from EGP goes a little bit south, so they have to disengage. Everyone's health bar is just too low, and Rift Herald will be the prize. Shoryu got caught out. Hook going to go forward, land. That's a little bit of a late spell shield. Passive not proc, so the damage will not mean very much onto Chim. Here comes Shelly, knock down a couple more plates before that falls off. And it should be AOE to grab first turret.
Yeah, should grab turret
Second
and should
turret,
second turret and should grab the second Drake there, if we're going to talk about seconds here, Necrox. And that was just lovely stuff from them as EGP set up the initial pick. They come back in for the fight, but it's just a little disconnected as Skytech is away clearing vision. Yes, he buys time for his team to come save him, but they have to use all of their ultimates, all of their summoner spells for escape. They're not trying to fight, they're trying to run for the hills, and with nothing available to them, they just have to sacrifice their bottom lane turret. They have to give up the Drake. They have to try to make a play topside, and Leo can just flash away. But it is still a big win overall for AOE randoms, who find themselves in a 2.5K gold lead with both Drakes in their back pocket.
Nice play from Leo, actually, to get out of that one, using the chains onto the red buff, but flash for nothing. He'll even lose the buff. Feels Sag for Leo. He's been a backseat of the story here so far for AOE randoms. Certainly had done a lot of work in game 1, keeping himself even-ish so far. I mean, yeah, he's 2-2, but Aspect is certainly going to take the benefit of this mid lane when all is said and done. But the lanes are now dissipated. Shoryu and Skytech will be in mid, trying to push out these waves as fast as possible. Short Hop going to try to respond, will not have nearly enough wave clear to match that of a Kaisa. So Josie is here to assist, just in case things do break out. Surdy's in the bush, but he's on a ward. Shouldn't be a problem. Skytech's going to try to force the issue, though. Hook onto Pockets. There's a Solar Flare in return. Doesn't really land, but look who's ticking down. It's Skytech, and look who's arriving from the sides like a bat out of hell. It's Chim to get kill number 1, and kill number 2 will go to Leo 99 as everyone from EGP has to run. AOE randoms show up in mid lane. Take 2 for nothing.
AOE randoms look so good, Necrox, and again, they have been playing together through UPL in the league. They are definitely have had time to be coordinated, but they just look ahead of every single play here. Everyone arrives, they pick up more kills. Now they're spreading it around the map, getting vision in the enemy jungle, and so much of it is behind the engage here of Josie and Chim, who, remember, solo killed Surdy twice in top lane. Surdy is 0-3-0, has been completely uninvolved in this game thus far. They are shutting them down at every turn and pressing forward. Now 3.5k gold in the lead.
And we are watching the rise of a superstar in the academy scene. AOE randoms have just dismantled anyone that comes their way tonight. And it's, yes, there's a little bit of here and there, but you would expect it to be so much worse. No, I mean, AOE randoms have just really come from nowhere. Their top laner's gotten 2 solo kills. Josie has been outclassing Tomio all night. Leo has been holding his own in mid, and Short Hop and Pockus are dealing with what we expected to be one of the best bot lanes in all of this tournament in Shoryu and Skytech. There's some question marks there about the synergy between the two, but I don't think it matters now. The questions have been answered. AOE randoms have really impressed me tonight, and I don't think anyone could disagree with the statement. They are performing above and beyond expectation here with a sizable gold lead against Evil Genius's Prodigies. One more Drake away in about 100 seconds or so until Soul Point.
Yeah, very close to Soul Point, and we look across the sort of the state of these players, the game here. 4 mythic items completed. The shield bow is the decision here for Short Hop. Wants to avoid some of the burst from the Sakali, from this Renekton. I think that's probably smart. Not a whole lot of tanks that really need busting on the side of EGP. Your autos will likely just do the damage for you with the W passive. So I do like that decision. Everfrost in here for Leo. We got the Leandra, we got the Stride Breaker on the enemy composition. There's also 4 mythics, but they are way further away from their second items and not looking like they want to try to contest this Rift Herald. It's going to go down. EGP just going to try to accumulate some gold, so they are set up to fight at this Drake in a minute. Aspect will take down the bottom tier 1. He will likely base right away, so they can start setting up vision. You can already see 3 members hanging out in that bottom river.
An Aspect is massive come this team fight. If you want to see Evil Geniuses succeed and prosper in this fight, you have to look at the 2 carries. It's Aspect and Shoryu. Surdy, yes, he has 1 item, but I don't think that's nearly enough to deal with all the threats that AoE randoms can throw at you come this team fight. Shoryu and Aspect need to find 1, isolate that target, get the stun, get the Acathian Rain down, along with a Killer Instinct if you need to gap close, and that's how you win this fight. Pock is trying to force the issue though before you can settle in, before you can take a breath, and here comes Chim as well with the Paranoia trying to flash away. Can he get himself out to safety? Massive knock up onto everyone from Skytech, but 1 more to be returned. This one's even better from Leo. It's got AP ratios, and he's just gonna rinse this fight. They're gonna turn this thing around. Evil Genius of Prodigies are gonna get wiped away. Triple kill for Josie. What an ulti from Leo. He had been the unsung hero, but it's a 5-for-1 fight for AOER. They'll take Drake, they'll take mid lane, and they'll take the lives away from EGP.
Yeah, Josie cleans up the kills, but that fight is all about Leo. That was disgusting, Necrox. The damage on the stolen Nautilus ulti hits 3 members and just obliterates their health bars. That was really, really nuts from Leo, because the initial engage was decent from Pocus, but it honestly looked like Chim had maybe gone a little too deep. Yes, the Stride Breaker back out. It's looking not great. There's a flank angle for Surdy, but Leo just hanging around, waits for his second rotation of spells, and just deals the DPS, man. That ult was sick, breaks up the fight, and Josie says, thank you very much. I will clean up the scraps. Everyone from EGP falling away. Soul Point in the back pocket here of AoE randoms, and they are so well poised to take this game and the series. Tomio trying to do something about it.
Tomio gonna get himself caught out, and Chim's on a rampage, and AoE randoms are not far behind. There goes Skytech, there goes Tomio, there goes Surdy. Everyone's gonna be killed now as Shoryu barely gets himself out to safety with a Gale Force. But look who's on the chase. It's always gonna be Leo 99. slice and dice away from Aspect, but an attempted play there from EGP around Vision, around that ward that was sitting on Baron Pit, turns into disaster as AOER will claim Baron.
What a fight. I mean, it's just an overreach from Tomio. It smacks of desperation. I can't blame him, Necrox. Like, what can you do with this EGP draft at this point in the game? You were trailing by 6k gold with an Akali that's 1-5, a Renekton that's 3-2. Yes, Aspect was decently strong before the fight, but he wasn't even as strong as he was last game when he had 2 items and was heavily accelerated by Tomio in that early portion of the game. They've got no answer to AOE ransom at this point. The itemization disparity is massive. The gold disparity is massive, and AOE is outplaying them in every fight. Even the fights when Short Hop is disrupted, it doesn't matter because Josie and Leo are so strong. You don't even need all of the Vayne damage to win these fights. And with Baron in their pockets, with Soul Drake up in 2 minutes and 45 seconds, with this jungle being cleared out and invaded, I don't really see a way back for EGP. We may be looking at our first big upset of OQ1.
We definitely could be, and it's not too far away, as well as AOE Random's not too far away from the base here of Evil Genius's Prodigies, already taking them down in game 1, looking to repeat in game 2. Bot lane turret number 2 will drop. Mid lane tier 2 was taken before. So now it's time for the Baron empowered siege. Here comes Short Hop wailing away on inhibitor turret number 1. That goes down. Inhibitor now under fire. Evil Geniuses cannot simply watch passively and watch their base die, especially because AOER are going for the killer blow. It's 2 split push members from EGP. They got to get back to the base if you want to defend.
Oh my
but there's
God.
just no chance in hell that AOER are going to let you live one more time. Sure, you ulting back to the fountain, but look who it is who's got the autos in. It's Short Hop. And good night, Evil Geniuses, Prodigies, and hello, AOER. AOE Randoms will take game 2 as soon as they're done padding their stats. Certainly doing all that he can, but not a single execution to be found. 5-0 to end it out. And AOE Randoms 2-0 Evil Geniuses, Prodigies.
Necrox, what a game 2 performance here from AOE Randoms. Game 1, they get taken apart in the early game, but they bide their time. Short Hop sticks around on that Jinx and carries them to success. This game, everyone was everywhere on the map. AOE Randoms look so coordinated. They look so strong, and they take a huge and convincing upset win here over one of the mainstays of the Proving Ground circuit. EGP with a new look bot lane, but the same top side that went deep in the Proving Grounds run last year is taken apart by the new kids on the block. And if you wanted to make an intro into the amateur scene, this is the way to do it. AOE's other rosters 3-0 on the night, looking for a 4-0, and AOE Randoms are 4-0 with a massive upset victory. They've got to be thrilled with the way that this has gone.
It makes me so excited. It makes me giddy to see amateur talent get a chance coming out from AOE and then smacking the hell out of their opponents. Man, it puts a smile on my face to see these boys succeed. We got to hear them from the interviews, and, you know, they were trying to be humble, trying their best to say, we'll do what we can here and there. No, boys, you got it on lock, and they locked down themselves a 4-0 evening. That's not it, though. AOE have one more team still answered onto the tournament. Their series, is still happening. AOE, the main roster, has gone up 1-0 in their series in the draft for game 2. But we have an interview lined up awfully soon. I'm not sure who it is. We'll update you on that one as we come out. But I think anyone could be a candidate here. Everyone had star moments. Even Chim, who kind of got, well, bullied in game 1, solo killed twice in game 2. It's just phenomenal stuff from everyone here on this roster. And they all had moments to shine. And I'm just excited to hear from anyone from AOE Randoms.
Yeah, I'd be very excited. I would really like to hear on a couple of the decisions from potentially Josie or Short Hop from those games. I think, obviously, Short Hop, the massive carry in game number 1. And yes, his team played very well around their win condition. They understood how to do it, but Short Hop was just monstrous. I mean, flashing over walls, taking kills, taking names, everything. Game 2, though, I will say, Leo and Josie were nuts. They won that game hands down in the early stages. Josie completely out-tempoed Tomio. He was first to every play, every objective. Even in game 1, he was 4 of 5 in early game objectives, 2 Rift Heralds, 2 Drakes. I honestly think he had a brilliant series today. And, I know Cubby was talking him up a little bit on the Proving Grounds podcast last night, but I think this is an announcement for him to the rest of the junglers in the scene. We lost Anda in this scene, in the amateur scene, at the top of that pool. There's an open slot there, and Josie may be making an early claim to that one.
And here we go. The interview that is so highly anticipated, the man we were talking about all night. And man, I'm going to have nightmares about that Jinx, and I wasn't on the Rift. Short Hop, please give him a warm welcome as we get to hear after a phenomenal evening. First of all, welcome, Short Hop. Thank you for joining us on the desk. It has to feel so good to come in to what was basically your first time to prove yourselves and just blow it out of the water.
Yeah, that was a pretty fun set. Evil Geniuses, Prodigies, I guess, wanted to test the waters game 1. They left Jinx open. I guess that might be a little bit of an announcement to the rest of Amateur that I like that champion. Please leave it open if you want to lose. But no, their team played phenomenally. It was a great set. But EG's a great team. We were better on the day, though. By all means, everybody played really well. Super proud.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you. You guys looked incredibly coordinated in all of those games. And even when the deficits were in game 1, it looked like you guys knew what the win condition is. You knew that the Jinx was scaling up, that they were going to fall off. And the protection from, your carries or your members was insane in that game. So what were the comms like, when you're down 5K gold, 6K gold going into these fights, no stopwatch on you? How are you guys playing these out, even when you're falling behind in that early game?
So the other game was a bit rough, definitely. I think as you mentioned, I think we were down 6K gold, but the moment I hit the 2-item spike and they entered a couple times in the mid game, I knew we would be perfectly fine since we had the first 2 dragons. We just gave them 3, and then once they made a couple mistakes, when we hit 3 items, we just completely outranged their comp. They can't do anything without really just overextending for me, in which you saw throughout the game. If they did, they just got smashed later on by the rest of my team anyways. So it was actually pretty easy. We stayed pretty calm. Chim died a lot for side waves. He actually said in our comms he was watching the Bouse this morning. He just died for side lanes, and it was actually pretty good. So we scaled. We scaled and punished EG when they made mistakes. So good showing, I guess.
Watching the Bouse, definitely the right way to approach competitive play. I 100% approve of this decision making.
Oh man, I mean, I really only have one more question about games in particular until we get to where you guys are headed and the future success of your team. Tell me about the Vayne. I'm not sure about your drafting formula or whatnot. Was it something that you were thinking of, something the team came up with collectively? We had our doubts about it, but I mean, a pretty low death game for you, some good damage jumpers as well. So just confidence there?
So for me there, it was either Vayne or Swain. I was thinking about picking the Swain, but I haven't practiced it much recently. But it's really good there too. They just had like 3 low range champions and 2 like big beefy boys in the Udyr and Renekton. So I was like, we can probably just go Vayne here. It was kind of tricky, but I had more than enough AD picks available. So confidence, kind of. I know I can execute on pretty much any champ I need to if the game calls for it. But I'm actually, to be honest, not too satisfied with the way I played that game. I played lane pretty poorly because I'm a bit rusty on the Vayne. But Vayne was a good pick there. I think if I played a little bit better and got rid of a bit of that rust, it would have looked a lot better. But fortunately, my team was just absolutely giga smurfing it tonight. So that game 2, I carried them game 1, you might say, and game 2 they just put me on their back. They're like, we would take care of you now. You know that the Ninja Turtles meme or something where it's
where Master Splinter is taller than them at the beginning and then he's short. I got you.
Game 1 versus game 2.
That was Leo and Josie were pretty much tearing it up in game 2, and so I guess I kind of want to ask you guys had a chance to kind of gel during UPL. It was a bit of a rough exit with Revival, who did ban away your Jinx in every single game. Shocker. Do you think that helped you guys get prepped for what was going to come here? Was this kind of your expectation? And going forward now, I actually Pocus earlier today, if Cup had kind of ranked you guys fairly at 13th, and he said yes, based on your performance in UPL. And do you think that has kind of been broken now? And is this sort of your announcement that you are coming for some of these sort of empty spots at the top of amateur that have been left by members that have moved on to Academy, that have moved on to the LCS even, as you guys arrive here with AOE?
I think there's a lot still up in the air, right? This the UPL series where we got 3-0'd by Revival was a big wake up call for us. We realized there's a lot of holes in our drafts and communications, so we spent a lot of time that night sort of trying to shore up those weaknesses. And we've had bigger success lately, as you can see. As to whether or not we are, appropriately ranked, it's hard to say. Really early. This is obviously the first qualifier. I'd like to say that I think everybody on the team thinks we're as good as anybody else, and we're not intimidated or scared of anybody, regardless if they have LCS organization behind them or anything like that. We have AOE behind us, and we're a confident group of people that have been playing together for a while. And first and foremost, we love each other as friends, and teammates naturally flow to be the second thing after that. So we have a lot of potential that's untapped, and we're going to keep working hard to sort of remind everybody that, these randoms, as we like to say, are not quite so random. So definitely keep an eye out. But 13th is appropriate. We'll be humble, and we'll talk is cheap. We'll see how the games go. That's pretty much it.
For sure. With a star-studded lineup like yours, I think we all have our eyes on AOE randoms to see where you guys can take us. Final question for you here before we let you go celebrate with your team. Obviously, an impeccable night for you all. Any shout outs, anything you want to say to anyone that's watching, even maybe the people who didn't think you guys could pull it out tonight and pull out a 4-0?
Not much to say, really. Used to it. Used to people doubting in us, and me specifically. But myself and everybody else on the team, we felt like we've been improving a lot in and out of game over the last months, and we're going to continue to do that, and hoping to take amateur by storm. Shout out to my team and coaching staff and everybody in the AOE organization. They've been awesome to us and been loving playing with these guys and working with the org. So huge shout outs to them, and looking forward to making a splash in amateur.
Phenomenal. Thank you so much, Mr. Short Hop. It was amazing watching you play. Your confidence and your skill throughout the series continued to impress me and everyone here behind the scenes. We just have the highest regards for you. So thank you again for joining us and letting us broadcast your games. It was a phenomenal experience. Have a great rest of your night.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great night.
You as well. DJ, honestly, couldn't have asked for much more in an interview. There's a little bit of BM, there's a little bit of humble there as well. But honestly, just everyone in AOE has continued to surge. And they're still fighting right now in their other series as we speak.
Yeah, they certainly are. We're still waiting for that one to wrap up, but they've been 3-0 so far today, and it's just going to be a great start. If they can round out that series for AOE, if they do go sort of 4-0 here, 4-0 there, a full 8-0. What an introduction, for Riley, for Kobe, for Incon here today, for Julius and Pukar up there on the coaching staff of AOE. It would be a phenomenal day for them, and a phenomenal announcement of another great org here in amateur. Again, I think as Short Hop said, very, very early on in the season. So do like the fact that, he's keeping his head down. They know there's still a lot of work to be done. This is a great start, a huge result for them, but it is a flash in the pan for the whole split. And I like to see the focus that they know this is a long journey coming up. They have a lot of room to work, but we already know that they have a very high ceiling after just a couple of series.
Still work to be put in, still so much League of Legends to be played, and so much League to be broadcasted here at Excellency. If you're new and you don't know what we do here, feel free to hang around in the Discord and ask as many questions as you'd like. We'd be happy to answer. We have leagues Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and action all throughout the week. From us here behind the desk and everyone behind the scenes, we thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next time we go live, which should be tomorrow night with our Light League on Tuesday. Until then, stay safe. Have a good night.